Hello YouTube, and welcome back to a new Hypertrophy Log. It has been way too long since I've been able to pronounce these words. I have missed you guys, but I had many things happen to me in my quote-unquote real life that took me away from the channel. If you want to hear more about what happened to me, at the end of this video I'm going to post a small clip of myself explaining it to you. But for right now, I just want to get back into it, back into bodybuilding, and the reason why I make videos in the first place. So, today I'm going to show you guys a training session that happened in the past month, where I'm playing with my new toy that you can see on camera right now, which is a bar that allows you to do your curls with a pronated grip. Fun fact, I got this bar for free. One of my friends was going through rough times and he needed to move ASAP, and of course, since I'm the bulky guy of the friend group, I ended up being the one moving his bed and all of the heavy shit, the fridge and stuff. And as a thank you, he gave me that bar, which is actually from the 70s, so I'm very happy to have helped him. It shows that being a kind person pays off in life because you get cool lifting equipment. So here you can see that I am actually using the wall as a way to reduce the amount of cheating. I do think that curls using the wall actually are easier because you can push your torso and your elbows against it, but in a sense it is going to allow you to get slower negatives, so I think it's a win. And this is of course for biceps and forearms. You can tell that it is extremely slow and grindy, and this is what I like about this lift. It really allows you to get 100% out of the movement. Always make sure that the negatives are very slow as well, because why not? You really don't want to just let the bar fall. The negative is where most of the hypertrophy occurs. So that was set number one, and we're starting, as you can tell, with the upper body portion of this workout. Every single log now in this new modern version is going to have both a lower day and an upper day. We start with the upper day today. You can see and sense that the physique is improved from last time. I haven't gained much weight. I just look fuller for some reason. I think it's also the tan that plays a massive role. And after the forearm exercise, we're going to move on directly to the chest movement. It feels so alien and weird coming back to this. It really has been only 2 months, but it feels like a lifetime to me. So here I'm going to be doing some power flies, and the pros of doing them like this instead of the regular version is that you can lift more weight, one, but also two, you can pause at the bottom more efficiently. So you see what I'm doing here is I'm angling the dumbbells so that they are not exactly in line with my body. They're sort of like rotated outward. So it's not a dumbbell press, it's not a fly, it's a mix in between the two. The very important factor of form and technique here to get the maximum amount of stretch is, one, to go deep, of course, but also more importantly, it's to keep the humerus as perpendicular with the shoulder as possible, which means that you really want to flare out the elbow. If possible, your elbows should be as open as possible, which is not the type of advice I would give for someone who does dumbbell press, because it can lead to shoulder issues and even pec tears. Oftentimes you want to tuck the elbow in. But if you use less weight, like I am in this video, you can go through that specific form without much risk. This is a technique I recommend you attempt. If you find that flies are not effective for you, this is a very good replacement if you want to lift more weight. So this is me enjoying myself. The gym has really been my safe place and my place of solace for the past 2 months, and I always love being down there. This is the basement gym for anyone who hasn't noticed or realized that I've moved out of my garage gym. This is where I train now. I actually love it much more. So after this, because I just did a press, I'm going to train on scapular retraction and serratus activation. So these are serratus push-ups. Not necessarily a mass building exercise at all, but when you do a superset or a giant set, there is a role of intensity that comes into place. Not all 3 exercises can be super intense. It's simply not doable in the long term. So what you see here is this body weight movement that I do at the end to really open up the shoulders, keep them healthy. And here is me, of course, flexing. If there is good lighting, I will be flexing. I look quite juicy, if I do say so myself. Then we're going to move on to the second set of the day. So the first one was forearms, chest, and then serratus and scapular retraction, and here we're going to start with long head of the tricep, and the bar comes into play again. I'm really pleasantly surprised with how versatile this bar is. I use it for, I believe, 5 exercises that I'm going to be covering on this channel. The bar itself is a flimsy piece of shit because it's 10 pounds only, but I've been able to lift 300 pounds one-hand deadlift with it. So it's actually very solid. It's actually a Joe Weider bar. If you want a history lesson, it was built in the 70s. I'm glad that I have it because it's an heirloom at this point. So what you see here is that I'm going through, and it's like a lying tricep extension with some shoulder motion. So it also resembles a pullover. The reason why I do this movement at the end of the positive, or I bring the arms a little bit in front of my body, is not to get more lats, because I don't get much lats at all here. I do this to be able to get more triceps because I get a better squeeze, a better activation at the top of the movement. But of course, the money maker here is the bottom of that range of motion where the tricep is fully extended. I find that doing these core crushers / lying tricep extensions with that type of grip really saves your wrists and your elbow in the long term. So that's something that you must try if you have that bar available, and that many gyms don't have it. Then I believe we are going to move on with my very manly pink straps to an exercise for the traps. And this is one that I do on the belt row. Yes, rows on the belt squat machine. Why? Because I find that it really allows the stabilization aspect to be taken care of by something external to my body. So I can go really, really hard. I would never do 6-7 reps of high intense work for traps with a dumbbell because most likely I would use too much lower back. But here I can really go like a barbarian and squeeze and let the stretch happen because the machine is taking care of that aspect for me. This is how you train hard using machines. You abuse the stability aspect to push harder. Then there is the other side. You can tell that my head is tilting towards the other side that is not doing the row. That allows me to get a much better stretch on the lats and the upper back in general. I insist that the most important part of the movement is the stretch at the bottom. You don't have to bring your arm all the way the fuck back when you try and train your upper back. It can even be counterproductive if you want to build a big back, big traps, big lats, etc., etc. Okay, what are you doing now? My memory is not the best because, again, this training session happened a long time ago. So I think that the next yes is going to be some biceps. It couldn't be an upper body without bicep work. This is some dumbbell preacher curl, and I do them on my hyperextension bench. If you want to be the jackass in the gym, go do that. Take the hyperextension bench that people use for their glutes and hamstrings that is very popular and start doing your curls on it. I guarantee you people are going to love you. Here I get to do that because it is my home gym. The reason why I do it on that pad is because the angle is different than my preacher curl station. It's much more steep, and that allows me to go deeper in the range of motion. The steeper the angle, the more you can open up the arm, and the more the stress is going to stay on the muscle and not be directed on the tendon. So this is why I enjoy doing close to full range of motion on this specific exercise, and I don't do that with the easy bar preacher curl because the angle is less steep. And then this is me just fooling around. Enjoy the goofiness, I guess. There is a flex because there is always a flex, and it's going to be a double bicep, of course. My physique, I'm very happy with. This is the best I've ever looked. It's the heaviest I've ever looked. I have no words. Honestly, I would have never believed just 3 years ago I would be able to look like this, especially with my circumstances. I really, all of these notions of like optimal, like your life has to be regimented, all of that shit to look good. I've stopped believing in that. Life can be chaotic. As long as you stick to the gym and you keep training and progressing, you're going to keep improving. Here is a footage of all of the the equipment I'm going to be using for the lower body day. So I showed my shoes, I showed the neck harness, and here I show the belt squat with some extra weight on the platform. Why? Because I'm going to do an exercise with these plates here that is going to literally tilt the fuck out of the station if I don't add extra weight. You're going to see what I'm talking about later. But the first exercise is 1, you admiring my Toto shirt. What type of woman is your type? Let me know in the comments. Mine is exactly in line with Toto, a gorgeous woman that is tall with a big ass. Now that you know that, this information that you never requested from me, you can look at me doing some, I think they're called reverse lunges. whatever the name, that were created by Satan. I've never in my life done an exercise that destroys your glutes more than this. They also do a great job at targeting the VMO. You get some quad work in there. All in all, I don't know why I didn't start doing them earlier. But if you're someone who is looking for that posterior chain destroyer, this is your pick, 100%. Especially if you're looking for something that saves the lower back, that is that. But fair warning, you're not going to be able to walk properly for a while, and your glutes are going to feel like they're going to tear off the fucking bone. This is how I felt after that set. I use my hands to stabilize myself, not to push myself, and the reason why is because I do them with the SSB. And the SSB is a lifesaver for stuff like split squats, stuff where you require a lot of balance. I couldn't tell you the amount of times I see people who do split squats, for example, who are clearly being impaired not by their ability to move the weight, but by balance. If you can eliminate the balance aspect, all the better. My legs are looking tremendous and huge, and these shorts should not be allowed in public. They're a little bit too lewd, but hey. You do what you do to get attention, right? I'm French, that's not enough to get people's attention, so I have to wear stuff like this. After this, we are going to train the calves, the front of the calves, with my new favorite machine that I use literally every lower body day, because why the fuck not? My performance has exploded on it. I'm now up to 50 pounds per feet, so I use 100 pounds to do my sets of 20, and they just grow your calves with no real downsides or anything. Of course, it's not enough for complete calf development, but if you have access to a machine like this, or if you can make one yourself, I guarantee you that hitting that 3 times a week is going to make a big difference in the size of your calves, as I've noticed myself. After this, I'm lost and I'm looking for something in the gym. I'm not surprised by it, and I end up finding it. And why did I find? Oh, it's the straps. How could I lose them in that gym? They're bright pink. We will never know. So I'm going to put them on, and I'm going to do the exercise that I was quote-unquote teasing on the belt squat machine, and they are RDLs. Why would I do them on this machine? Well, for the same reason that you do anything with a machine, because it takes care of the stability aspect. So it allows me to really push my hips back and allow the weight to drift in front of me because it's on a lever. The issue with a barbell RDL that I've noticed is that if you try to replicate that form, now you're like actively trying to push your shoulder blades, push the bar away with your shoulder blades where it's hanging from your arms, and it doesn't feel natural at all. It impairs your ability to rep. Here I have straps, I have the machine, I just have to hinge. I don't have to think about anything else, and this absolutely kills the hamstrings. And a little cherry on top of the intensity cake is that rest pose with that method is extremely simple. I just take a 15-second break, and then I go again until I literally cannot go anymore and my legs are shaking. This is one of my favorite variations for posterior chain and for hamstring development as a bodybuilder. If you do not have access to a belt squat machine, I don't know, you can try and like rig something up, maybe with a landmine, barbell, whatever. I'm sure it's possible. So, what is on the menu afterwards? I think we're going to be training neck. And this exercise for neck is going to take place also on the hyperextension bench. This is one of the good things of having a home gym. You have to become inventive because you don't have access to every single machine in existence. So here is with 50 pounds. This is going to be for the back of the neck. And I do these movements with a specific shift of the torso that you will see very soon that allows me to also feel a lot of traps and upper back. For neck, for the front of the neck, I find that pure isolation is best, but for stuff like the back of the neck, I've always loved some body English, some torso movement, because it feels like the neck works best like this. It's not just about lifting more weight, it's also about doing something holistic that feels natural and good to the body, and this is, for me, what feels the best. So, well, what can I say? Train your fucking neck. Absolutely train your neck as much as possible, even if you don't have an harness. Neck training is always going to pay dividends in terms of raw aesthetics, facial and body-wise, but also if you ever get in an accident. And that is that. These 15 minutes just flew by. So what we're going to be doing now is, yay, we are going to have a small talk. I'm going to run you through the shit that I've been going through. And if you don't care, the video ends here. But if you do care, I'll see you right now. Hello YouTube. Yes, in this video you get 2 Hello YouTubes because I must spoil you to make up for the fact that I was gone for 2 months, which was of course unplanned on my part. The last video, I think at some point I say, hey, I'll be here with part 3 very soon. 2 months later, so not very soon at all. So to give you a little bit of a rundown of what happened to me, nothing major, but I felt like I owe it to you guys because shit, 2 months without content is long, in my opinion, especially when there are people who pledge their hard-earned money to support the channel. So, if you were here when I opened the coffee page, you most likely know why I opened the coffee page. It's because I'm going to have more responsibility as the head of my family. I have to make more money because I'm the sole breadwinner. And all of this was something that I knew a long time ago, so it was in the plan. What I did not plan for, however, is that I lost my job. I lost my job roughly 3 months ago. And even though I'm very grateful to every single person who pledges on Coffee or donates, at the end of the day, most of my revenues come from my job. And not just that, also my health insurance, my 401k, my everything. So I just couldn't live like this. I had to find a solution very quickly. And not to bore you to death, but the termination was litigious because I got quote-unquote fired, but not really. I didn't really get anything that I should have gotten, like unemployment, like my severance package. At the end of the day, the company that I worked for tried to screw me out of what I was owed, and it's not something that I stand for. So, like the knucklehead that I am, I started to fight them for it, which was incredibly stressful, but needed. My family needed me to do that. And it was a long, strenuous process. Naturally, they didn't make it easy for me, but I was able eventually to get my job back. So that's a great news. The only thing is that the last 2 months disappeared in a black hole because this is the only thing I could think of. I didn't have any spare time to make content, even though this is what I love doing in life. I had to prioritize my responsibilities. And since I also didn't want you guys to see me in that very stressful state in my life, because I wasn't pleasant to be around and I certainly wouldn't be pleasant on video, I decided to stay away from YouTube. Now, it doesn't stop there. If it did, it would be just an easy story to wrap up. The problem is that with all of the stress that came with that situation, also came health complications. I ended up having a bunch of bullshit happen to me out of fucking left field. I didn't know what was going on, so I went to the doctor. And this is why I decided on that title for the video, because the nurse that took my vitals and shit took the chart and took it to the doctor. And when the doctor walked in, they were expecting to find someone who was morbidly obese, at least clinically obese, because I have a BMI of 30. And when they saw me, they were like, they looked at the chart, they did a double take, and they like almost went out of the room to see if they got the wrong room. And then they came in, they were like a little bit surprised. So that was the fun part. The least fun part was to find out that my blood pressure was through the fucking roof because of the stress. And all of the issues I had gotten, the health complications, were stress induced. So the doctor was like, okay, well, you're going to have to take a break from work. Yes, of course, I'm going to take a break from the job that almost fired me. I couldn't do that, so I had to keep working. And that meant that I had absolutely no time whatsoever left for making content, which made me even more stressed because every single week I was like, okay, next week you'll have the time, you'll find the time, next week. And every single time, by the time Sunday rolled around, I was like, wow, I just spent my time working and I don't have time for YouTube. And it was slowly starting to eat away at me because I felt like I was abandoning you guys. I felt like I was not fulfilling my part of the bargain, and I'm a man of my word and I hate that. So it's not just that I couldn't keep doing what I love, which is making content for you guys. I felt like I was entering a cycle where I was becoming a drone, and I felt like this was going to last forever. And this is the reason why I didn't make a community post, because I could have just posted a message saying, hey guys, like I have issues in my everyday life, RL, or I have health problems. But the problem is that, one, I had absolutely no clue when I was going to be able to come back. I could have told you, hey, because like in my head, this shit was going to be done in a month. I thought maybe, okay, by the time July rolls around, I'll be able to make videos. But no, the complications kept going and going and going. So I didn't want to be the guy who says, oh, I'll be back in 2 weeks, guys, and then not come back. That to me is just, it's just not proper communication. Then there was also the fact that it felt like emotional manipulation on my part. I wanted to be able to come back with a video and say, hey, here's content that I worked on that you can consume, and this is why this little message is not its own standalone video, because to me that's bullshit. It's not the proper way to approach things as a content creator. This is why I tagged it at the end of this training log, so that if you're interested you can watch it, and if you don't give a fuck, it's fine, you don't have to. And so that's pretty much the bottom line. That's the story. I'm not dying. This is also why I didn't want to make a community post, because I know that we have a connection. As much as I don't like the parasocial relationships on social media, we have a connection. I care about you and you care about me. I know that many of you guys, if I told you, hey, I have health issues or I lost my job, you would panic and think, oh, he's gonna die, or like, let's help him. You can help him. You've already done so much for me. At this point, you've done all that you could. It's on me to just deal with the fucking stress and just get back to this shit and just go back on the schedule whenever the time is going to be available for me. But I want to make clear and insist on one fact, and that is that I'm extremely humbled by you guys, because while I was being devoured inside with this feeling that I was abandoning you, you are nothing but supportive. If you reached out to me on Instagram and I didn't answer, I'm sorry. I had to get away from social media for all of the reasons that I told you guys. But I saw the comments, because I tried to keep answering the comments on the channel, and I was expecting people to say like, dude, what the fuck are you? You're not making content, fuck you, which granted, I would have told myself, because that's what I was telling myself. That's what I was feeling inside. But no, most of your messages were like, hey, I hope you're okay wherever you are. When you come back, we'll be here. I hope nothing serious is going on, etc., etc. And that, it put me at ease. It really did, because I'm just an anxious mess when it comes to social media. I feel like if I'm not producing, then I'm doing something wrong. And to be able to take that step back and focus on my health and my family and getting my job back really meant a lot to me. So I want to extend a big thank you for everyone who has posted a message like this. Even if I didn't answer, I read it. No, I'm not dead. No, I'm not at the Olympics. I wish I could go back home. I haven't been back home in 5-6 years and just see all of the gold medals that our team is getting. Unfortunately, I don't have that type of money, but your messages meant a lot. Now, what does that mean for the future? Well, of course, if I stop making videos, the channel will die. That is inevitable. That is how YouTube works. So here is how I'm going to go about it. I've realized in the passing 2 months that I cannot just wait for time to be available, because it truly feels like I'm a point in my life where I'm caught in like the cogs of a machine, and I'm caught with the flow and I have no time. So what I want to do is, one, I want to work on an upload schedule, something that you're not going to be privy of, but I can guarantee you I'm going to do it. And two, I want to put into place a method to make sure that you guys, one, get the content that you deserve every single week, and two, that you get more interactions. This is something that I've been missing in the past 6 months or so, especially with the absence of Q&As. I haven't done Q&As in a while. So here is my announcement for the channel. Starting September, I'm going to start streaming every single Saturday. I will hold a stream for 3 hours, usually like in the afternoon if you're in the US, or at night, quote unquote, in the afternoon, late afternoon, around 8 p.m. if you are in Europe. And that way we're going to be able to talk. I'm going to have an hypertrophy Q&A where we're going to focus on bodybuilding and fitness. I'm going to have a self-improvement Q&A where you're going to be able to ask me any questions you have in terms of how to become a better person. I'm going to have a dating Q&A. I might have a philosophy Q&A. I'm working on all of that, but I can tell you that come September, even before September in reality, that schedule will be released. You will know exactly when the streams happen. And in that fashion, in that way, that will also help me make more content that is tailored to what you need, because you'll get to ask questions directly. And the streams, even if you miss them, will be available for free on the channel. There will be no paywall, no membership, no bullshit. It won't be on Coffee. It would be for everyone. So this is what I plan to do. Now, for the month of August, I'm still not out of the woodwork yet. I'm still working out some legal details with my work to make sure that I have a secure job and I don't lose my health insurance, because I'm at a point in my life where I don't go to the hospital very often, but the people in my life do. And this shit in the US is expensive as fuck. Without health insurance, you are essentially just dead in the water. So this is my number one priority. This means that I won't have much time to release videos in August. I predicted this more or less because I knew I was going to lose my job. So I have a bunch of hypertrophy logs that are pre-filmed. I just have to edit them together. So I'm going to try and release at least one hypertrophy log. And I'm not promising anything, but maybe 2 or 3 in the month of August. So August will be only that. And then start September, we are going to start getting back on track. And that's pretty much that. That is where I was. So again, I want to insist on the fact that bicep is looking huge. I want to insist on the fact that I'm okay. I'm okay. My health is stabilized now. I'm doing better. My family is doing good, and things are going to be just fine. I'm going to keep working hard. And I want to end this video by saying that one of the reasons why I will continue making videos and I will not quit is, one, I'm not done with you guys yet. I still want to torture you guys with like 4-hour long videos. I have a lot of ideas, don't you worry about it. And two, because what really held me together during these 2 months, these 2 incredibly stressful months in my life, was bodybuilding. It was fitness, because I stuck to it. I didn't skip a day. I kept going at it, and it was the confirmation that everything in my life centers around it. My mental health, my ability to be strong, to be the man that I want to be for my family, all of this is linked to bodybuilding. And since I've benefited so much from it, I want you guys to benefit as well. I want to keep giving you the information, the resources. I want to keep teaching you guys. I want to keep making philosophy videos, because at the end of the day, this is what I like to do. The company I work for, I don't like working for them. I hate being a corporate drone. I just don't have a choice. So as long as I can protect that one thing that we have together that I love doing, I will keep doing that. I'm ready to sacrifice a lot to keep that going, and I promise you that I will. So I'm going to be seeing you in September. If you're part of the people who are still pledging on coffee even though I disappeared, my hat's off to you. You are a better person than I am. Thank you so much. And for everyone else on the channel, thank you for watching, and see you not very soon, but as soon as possible.